from Indianapolis, Indiana, CBS Sports. Schumer's in his second season as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. He came from St. Louis. Before that, Philadelphia. His uncle was Fritz Schumer, the late, great defensive coordinator. Bruce Arians taking the place of the head coach here on an interim basis. We'll be talking a lot about Chuck Pagano today, but Bruce Arians, who was so instrumental in the development of Ben Roethlisberger up at Pittsburgh as the offensive coordinator, and guy who's been around the league for a long time, now holding the reins and holding down the fort. So we have a couple of interesting teams here today. Phil Dawson will be kicking off. You see his numbers on that with Cassius Vaughn and Mewelde Moore deep back. Two traditional teams relaunched and meeting today, the Colts and the Browns. Vaughn in the back of the end zone will leave it there out to the 20 with the touchback, which brings us to the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft. Andrew Luck out of Stanford. Only 2 of his 7 interceptions have been at home. He's found success and comfort here inside the dome.
And Andrew Luck will tell you that he's looking for consistency, play to play, quarter to quarter, from game to game. He has tended to play much better here at home at Lucas Oil Stadium.
You say dome, the roof is open. The side panels have opened as well. A beautiful day in Indy. It's going to get up to the high 60s today. Here's a 1st and 10 with Allen, the rookie tight end, on the move. Right to work. The rush comes from Frosty Rucker. That's caught. Reggie Wayne brought down by Sheldon Brown. He crosses midfield. He picks up 30 on the play. Nice connection to get things underway.
Well, this is what they want. There's a little play action there. And look, with protection, Frosty Rucker coming in from the blind side. Luck stands in the pocket as Reggie Wayne's able to shake Sheldon Brown, tied up in man-to-man coverage. The veteran, we told you, is putting up huge numbers, averaging 8 catches a game. It starts out with a catch on the first play of this one.
5 in the secondary. It is 1st and 10. Vic Ballard working his way. Jackson tried to slow him down, and finally T.J. Ward, who's very good against the run, makes the stop. It's a gain of 6. They're down to the 44-yard line. One thing about Reggie Wayne, when you watch the body of his work, he is such a precise route runner. I can't help but think that he and Manning really worked to really sharpen those tools.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And I think now he's helping the young quarterback Andrew Luck grow in this offense. You can see first 2 plays of the game, they get the ball to Reggie Wayne. Now they have a little more room for the running game.
2nd down and 4 on the game-opening drive. And Ballard again. Stuck and hit pretty hard that time by James Michael Johnson. 2nd career start, gain of about a yard. Offensive line, center Samson Satelli anchors the line. Lincolnbach, by the way, continues to replace the injured guard Joe Wright. And the running back Donald Brown is out with a knee injury, so we've seen Vic Ballard, and he makes his 2nd consecutive
illegal
start.
formation. Offense, number 78 was on the end of the line. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
78 is an extra offensive lineman they'll bring in from time to time, Tony Hills.
Yeah, but you have to cover him up. The end man on the line of scrimmage should be a wide receiver covering up that extra tackle. What do the Indianapolis Colts want to accomplish today, particularly on offense today, Kevin, is they want to be able to run the ball. They have struggled to run the football, only averaging 86 yards per game. They feel if they can run it more effectively and efficiently, goes a long way to helping Andrew Luck in the passing game.
Screen is the extra defensive back for the Browns. 2nd down and 9 on the game-opening drive. After the penalty, Luck underneath. That's the rookie tight end. Flag has been thrown. Allen makes the catch. The tackle made by Robertson. Gain of 10 as it stands right now, down to the 39-yard line. Carl Cheffers is our referee today.
Illegal shift. Offense. Number 13 never got set prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
Here's Ataba Rubin. He is back after missing last week with a calf injury. One of the better interior defensive linemen in the NFL. DeQuell Jackson in the linebacking core is the only player in the NFL with at least 2 sacks and 2 interceptions. Johnson taking the place, by the way, at that outside backer position of the injured Scott Fujita. And Joe Hayden is in his 2nd game back from a 4-game NFL suspension. And he had an interception last week, and he was, as the teammates will tell him, and you, that he was a terrific addition last week against Cincinnati. 2nd down and 14. And they get that pass caught. That's grabbed by the former St. Louis Ram, Donnie Avery. A good catch and a gain down to the 42-yard line. 11.
Yeah, the Colts get 2 consecutive penalties on offensive plays, Kevin. Then they come back and connect with Donnie Avery over the middle of the field. It just goes to show you the poise and the presence that Andrew Luck brings to the table. Now they have third and short where they really have struggled on offense. They've been better converting the third and long situations.
Browns remain in the nickel. More in the backfield. 3rd down and 3. And Luck again. Nice lunging first down reception made by the rookie tight end, Coby Fleener. Running out of bounds on the play. Wade among a couple over there. Garden. That's a gain of 7. A first down.
Well, we told you these two tight ends, Dwayne Allen, this is Coby Fleener catching the ball, locked up man-to-man coverage. A little bit too much for the middle linebacker, DeQuail Jackson, 53, or I should say Robertson, matched up in man-to-man coverage on Fleener. These tight ends are very athletic. Look big at 6'6", 252 pounds, but he can run and catch it as well.
Vic Ballard is back in the game. 1st and 10 on the game-opening drive. And Ballard, who is from Mississippi State and a rookie, slipping by one defender. He got by Brown, hits the deck at about the 30-yard line and picks up 6. And on this drive, a 30-yard pass to Wayne, 11-yard pass to Avery, 7 pass to Fleener.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get skinny in the hole, Kevin. This is called getting skinny, right here. Just sliding and slipping through where there's very little space. They're the young running back out of Mississippi State. A lot of credit for getting skinny right there to create a productive game.
Wish we could get skinny in the booth. 2nd down and 4 from the 30-yard line. Screen is now tailing Wade. Nice tackle from behind by Craig Robertson. Handoff went to Vic Ballard. It's a gain of 2 down to the 28-yard line.
So far, good-looking drive. Bruce Arians, the interim head coach, also calling the offensive plays for Andrew Luck and the offense. 6 plays, 3 runs, 3 passes. Very balanced. And the thing they want to do is come out and just protect the football. I think Andrew Luck is very clear in his goals, his preparation before the game. His ability to get a good pre-snap read goes a long way into helping this offense to be productive.
Couple tight ends on 3rd down and 2. Ballard hurdled his own blocker. That was McGlynn. Finds a gain of 5. And he's hit by DeQuail Jackson. They'll spot the ball at the 23, and they'll move the chains once again.
And already the Colts more run plays than pass plays. That was their 4th run play on this drive, not to mention the ones that were called back on the penalties. And so Bruce Arians giving the offense a chance, the offensive line even, to get the run game going. He believes that's going to set some things up as they're now approaching the red zone.
And they had another offensive lineman. Tony Hills will be on the left side. 8th play of the drive. 1st down and 10. Ballard. Nice open field tackle right there by Sheldon Brown, who had the interception and went 19 for a touchdown against the Bengals. A loss of a yard and back to the 24.
Yeah, Ballard's going to find out. He's a rookie. And some, you want to be able to stick that foot in the ground and get vertical, get going downhill, as we often talk about. Well, against this defense, you can't bounce it and run lateral. You got to press the line of scrimmage and go ahead and get vertical. Pat Shurmur right now concerned about his defense in the early going on this ball game on the road as the Colts are moving closer to getting into field goal range.
Browns defense comes in today, number 30, under the leadership of defensive coordinator Dick Duran. 2nd down and 11. Luck checking down. Ballard on the move in open territory. Usama Young brings him down in the secondary. That is a catch and run to the 6, 19-yard pickup, 1st and goal indeed.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you need to get a little bit lucky because watch, you get them to come across the line right there, but watch 2 guys fall right into one another. 2 Cleveland Browns. That frees up Ballard. He's able to catch that ball and run and get close inside the 5-yard line. But 2 defenders, that frees up Ballard. It's just a confusion in coverage. And Robertson was initially covering Ballard. He's got to be able to clear by going over the top and not collide with his own teammate.
1st and goal. Luck on this drive. 4 of 4. He's hit 4 different receivers. Mewelde Moore, he's been around. T.J. Ward, Jackson all having a hand in that stop right there. Maybe carving out about a yard down to the 4.
This Cleveland Brown defense, they were top 10 1 year ago. And what did DeQuail Jackson tell us when we talked to him? He said, we've got to build a bully on the defensive side of the ball. Well, when you go on the road, the one thing that has to be portable, you've got to be able to carry it with you, and that's a tough, stout defense, and they're not playing near where they played 1 year ago, where they're giving up more points and more yards.
Time Timeout taken by Bruce Arians. Ataba Rubin, we've just been told, has re-injured his calf, but as you just saw, he remains on the field trying to stop the Colts. Good-looking drive by Luck.
Yeah, Luck, he told us, he said he doesn't want to force the ball in the end zone and inside the red zone. Let's see if he plays with poise on this play.
Colts just had a timeout. Here's a second down and goal at the 3-11 play of the drive. Good block by Justice, the right tackle. Here comes Luck, who is in for the touchdown. His second rushing touchdown as a pro. That was a good-looking drive.
It was a very good-looking drive. And Andrew Luck, you talked about being poised, not forcing it down inside the end zone or the red zone, so he keeps it himself as the coverage held up. And so the mobility and athleticism of Andrew Luck, which I think would surprise most people, Kevin, he has it in spades. I watched him during the combine, and he is as athletic as any quarterback in our league.
A combine that you attend always in this building. Here's Vinatieri tacking out one more. They got Reggie Wayne on a 30-yard pass, an 11-yard pass to Avery, a 7-yard pass to Fleener. 19 catch and run by Ballard. Luck takes it in himself to put the Colts on top, 7-0. Andrew Luck grew up a Browns fan. His dad, Oliver, was born and raised in Cleveland, went to St. Ignatius High School. A lot of Cleveland family members watching this one up there, of course, and a nice-looking drive against the team he used to root for as a kid.
And what did he tell us? He said it's hard to win games in the NFL. It's hard to score touchdowns. Then he said, you know, this is hard to put touchdown drives together. Well, he made that one look easy going 4 for 4 on the drive.
And Joshua Cribbs will bring it out for the Cleveland Browns, finding a seam and working his way. There goes a flag, and he was brought down on the play by Harvey. It's a 33-yard return. A lot of flags here early in the game with 7:17 to play in the first. Cribbs always dangerous. He had a nice little kickoff return last week of 44 yards against the Bengals. And he was one of your main guys in our report.
During the return, holding, number 41, return team. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
So we're going to take a look at Brandon Weeden when we come back. Turning 29 last week, beating the Bengals. He's down by 7 early here. There's a look at Brandon Weeden. He leads all rookie quarterbacks in passing yards so far. There are 5 rookies starting in the NFL as their main quarterback. And here you see the offensive line. John Greco replacing Jason Pinkston, who's watching today from a Cleveland hospital, the Cleveland Clinic. In the hospital because of a blood clot in his lung. And the running back is Trent Richardson, leads the Browns in rushing and receiving. Second among all NFL rookies in yards from scrimmage. A successful start, 1st and 10. After the Colts got a 3-yard touchdown run by Luck. Trent Richardson. He broke the first tackle coming at him from Powers. He picks up 9 on the catch and run. They're going to spot him at the 19-yard line.
Well, I got a surprise for you, Kevin. He's always going to break the first tackle. That is what he does. The first unblocked defender. It's impossible to get this young man on the ground. You need help from that second and third defender. He already has those ribs that are bothering him a little bit. We got to watch, see if he can have ball security with that Kevlar vest.
Richardson on second down and 1. Hitting the secondary by Bethea and also hit by Freeman. It's a gain of 5. He gets a first down on the play. Now a 3-4 defense look this year for the Colts. A lot like Baltimore. Litany of injuries. Ricardo Matthews starting for Corey Redding. Nevis, by the way, starting for Moala on that line. And linebacker Jerry Hughes replaces the injured Robert Mathis. Freeney plays today, but he is not 100%. In the secondary, Vontae Davis is welcome back. He's been out with an ankle injury the last couple games. There's a 1st and 10 at the 24. Richardson getting a nice block from the tight end, Cameron. And he was hit on the play, and a nice grab indeed by Cavell Connor. Starter each game so far this season on a gain of 1 to the 25.
Connor's got a nose for the ball as well. Watch him shoot the gap and turn back Trent Richardson. We talked about Richardson's ability to make you miss in the hole. Well, that one was well plugged. Great gap integrity defensively by the Indianapolis Colts.
Vaughn is not coming in the secondary for the Colts. Second down and 9. Outside it goes. This is caught by Little, who's grabbed by Pat Angerer, who's back for the first time this season. Little with a catch and run of 7. He's to the 32 to New York and James.
Says the ground attack still important.
Oh, and Adrian Peterson looks like he's in rare form. Watch him kind of slip in, out, 13 yards out. Puts the Minnesota Vikings up 7-0. His first touchdown since week 1. 7-0 Minnesota.
He's got 48 yards rushing already. Kevin Harlan, Solomon Wilcox.
That's a good sign for the Vikings.
Adrian Peterson gets hot, the Vikings usually win.
3rd down and 2. Extra wide receiver Travis Benjamin. That's Cooper in motion. He's got Cooper holding on to it. Tackle from behind by Josh Gordy, the ex-Green Bay Packer. Flag is down at the 26. Catch and run at 10. Ball right
Personal
now.
foul, roughing the passer. Contact to the helmet. Number 50, defense. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down.
They get Hughes. You cannot hit the quarterback. This has been taught for years now. I don't know if it was Hughes. I don't even know if it was a forcible blow. Typically, to get the penalty flag on that one, I'm sure that's what Bruce Arians is saying. Where is the forcible blow to the head or lower legs of the quarterback? Didn't see it.
Couple tight ends in right now. Richardson with a catch and run at 9. A 7 catch and run by Little. 10-yard pass to Cooper. Here they are at the 41. Their first drive. Browns 1st and 10. Going deep and overshooting the rookie who is being covered by Bethea. They were going for Gordon. We take you to New York and James.
Haven't seen this too often from Chris Johnson.
I didn't see that penalty either, but how about Chris Johnson's first touchdown of the year? 16 yards. The running game is going already here in week 7. Peterson and now Chris Johnson. 7-0 Tennessee.
Kevin, you knew Coach had to comment on that penalty.
I love it, Coach. Coach Cowher officiating the game from New York. He's got the eagle eye.
2nd down and 10. Richardson. He's wrapped up by Hughes, among others. A loss of a yard of the play and back to the 42-yard line. Also in there was Clifton Gathers.
I'm going to go back and talk about this Cleveland Brown offense. They've got 5 prominent rookies, 4 who are starters. And now Travis Benjamin is back to add another speed threat to their vertical passing attack that Pat Shurmur wants. He says that, hey, we want to throw to get a lead. We want to throw to put points on the board, and then ideally run the ball to close out the game late. They will take shots in the passing game, particularly at the plus 40-yard line going in.
Open eye in the backfield. 3rd and 11. 5 in the secondary. Here they come at Whedon. Deftly gets by. Has to get to the 31. Has the first down, and a hit coming from the secondary. It was by Vontae Davis. No flag thrown. First down run. Scrambles for 13 on 3rd and 11. Move the chains to the 29.
Well, it's good protection. And then watch Whedon. His eyes are downfield, but then he understands I can run forward. And you don't really expect him to take off and run. Yeah, Davis does hit the quarterback, but I think it's because Whedon slides late, and so they're not going to throw the flag on this one. The quarterback can save himself only if he slides early on the play.
Richardson back in on 1st and 10. Hit him there by Lawrence Guy. He just joined the team this week. It's a gain of 2 to the 27. Guy was signed off the Green Bay practice squad on Tuesday. Showed up here on Wednesday. Had to introduce himself to the team throughout the week. And I don't think a lot of guys still know what his name is. And that's the case with a lot of guys, as you talked about early on.
Dwight Freeney said it. I'm learning a new defense, and I'm learning new names of guys in the huddle with me. And right now, this Colts defense doing a much better job defending against the run. Gave up over 250 rush yards 1 week ago to the Jets.
3rd receiver is Cooper. 2nd down and 8. Thomas with the block. Cooper with the catch. Tackle was made by Gerard Powers. Worked their way to the 17. It's a pickup of 9 on the play.
This is another rookie. Of course, he was undrafted, signed as a free agent out of Oklahoma State, former teammate of the quarterback Brandon Whedon. Whedon told us that he was more comfortable throwing the ball to Josh Cooper at Oklahoma State than he was throwing it to 2-time Biletnikoff winner Justin Blackman. That says a lot. He's got a lot of confidence from his quarterback.
1st down and 10. Trent Richardson. Bad ribs and all. Anger was right there. Also, Freeman Anger led the team in tackles a season ago. It's a gain of 2. He's been inactive, Solomon, all season long. He fractured a bone in his foot in the preseason. Back today for the first time this year.
Been slow to come back. Remember, it was Sean Green, the running back for the Jets last week. 161 rushing yards against this Colts defense. 3 rushing touchdowns. Just gash the Colts defensively. And now you get Angerer back. They're playing much better, at least in the early going of the game. But, you know, the Browns are going to continue to test their run defense by giving it to Trent Richardson.
12th play of the drive. 2nd down and 8 for Brandon Weeden. Greco with the block. Almost intercepted inside the 5. Couple guys were there. Vaughn and also Powers. 3rd and 8 coming up.
Well, they had an intercept. Bad decision by Weeden. Should have maybe thrown it to the left side to Trent Richardson. Comes late over the middle. You have 2 Colts defenders who nearly intercepted this pass. Had a better chance of catching it than any of the receivers for the Cleveland Browns. Bad decision. And with Bethea colliding with his teammate, you could say the Browns are very fortunate that pass wasn't intercepted.
Mentioned this before. Weeden has the most interceptions in the NFL so far. 5 in the secondary. 3rd and 8. Whoops. Looked like the rookie Schwartz, the right tackle, jumped a little bit early. False start.
Number 72, offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Mitchell Schwartz, that right tackle. He's another rookie starting on this offense. And now they get the penalty. And Pat Shurmur's in. Boy, that's killing my play call. And you see him jumps out early right there at the right tackle position, lined up against Hughes. But Schwartz has really helped stabilize this offensive line. Opposite of Joe Thomas. The center, Alex Mack, a Pro Bowler. I think between the center and the 2 tackles, boy, this Cleveland Browns offensive line, they're back.
Good point. Arians calls a timeout. That's the 2nd one taken by the Colts. Late in the 1st, Indy on top. Autumn in Indianapolis. Beautiful city. There's Bruce Arians. His quarterback, Andrew Luck, went 11 plays, 80 yards, a game-opening drive. Here's a nice long drive by Weeden, 3rd and 13. Obadiah is in the backfield. 2 rookies at the receiver along with the 2nd-year Little. Weeden, Gordon. 1st down to the 2. The coverage by Vaughn, an 18-yard pickup. 1st and goal with a great pass by Weeden. Browns now in the move.
Amazing. They blitz Weeden, get it out. They believe they can win. When they get single high, one-on-one coverage on the outside, they believe their receivers can win, as Josh Gordon does on that play. Amazing. The Browns entered this game one of the worst teams, or the worst team in the National Football League, at converting 3rd and 10 or longer. They've already completed 2 plays of 3rd and 10 or longer on this drive.
Extra lineman O'Neal Cousins, 1st and goal at the 2. Richardson, Marisek with the block. Leading close, not quite in. And they get him to stop right there on a gain of a yard. At the bottom of that pile, they had Ricardo Matthews, and that should take us to the end of the 1st quarter. A good one it's been. Long drives by both teams. The rookie quarterbacks on display. 7-0 Colts. The Browns are threatening. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. An 11-play drive to start the game by the Colts, countered by now a 15-play drive, countered by Weeden and the Browns.
You know what? And Brandon Weeden has his offense on the move. He's got weapons around him, whether it's the runner and Trent Richardson or talented receivers on the outside.
First play of the 2nd quarter, 2nd and goal at the 1. O'Neal Cousins remains the extra lineman. Marisek with Richardson. Trent gets the call. Hit. Driven back. Nice defensive play by Antoine Bethea. Also in there is Harvey. They combine, loss of 3, pushing back to about the 4.
Not a great play design, because the defense is always going to go to the side of the fullback right there. And then Richardson's got to get going downhill. He's got to go vertical much sooner. He tried to bounce outside. You're never going to get outside. Look at Bethea. He outflanks you. You can't score a touchdown running outside. You can if you hit the hole going downhill.
Now they brought in all kinds of receiving help. Bethea with a nice play. 7 years out of Howard. He played every defensive snap last week against the Jets. Here's a 3rd and goal at the 4. Obadiah is in the backfield. Weeden's going to call time. Big play coming up for the Browns. 14-13 2nd quarter on CBS. Timeout taken by Cleveland. Here they line up again. Obadiah in the backfield. 3rd and goal at the 4. First time the Browns have had it today. Good block by Schwartz. And that is a Watson touchdown with a flag thrown. 4-yard hit right there. Watson was working on the linebacker, Moses Foku.
Did they say Watson pushed off? It was an option route where he cut in, and to get separation, the official's going to say he shoved and
Pass
pushed off.
interference. Number 16, offense. 10-yard penalty.
Wow.
Repeat third down.
Cribs away from the ball.
That's someone else.
Yes.
Does it count if you push off someone away from the ball? Here's Cribs right here. They're both hand fighting. I don't know about that one. Maybe it's once he was outside of the camera. But here's the earlier play. Stop it right there. Well, see, before they went in I formation, he could have went either way. But once he offsets, watch the linebackers move toward the fullback. And that's why that play had no shot on the second down play. And so they're forced to have to throw it on third down. And now they're even further away from the goal line.
Yeah, 3rd and 14. Obadiah back there giving a block into the end zone and caught on a juggle. Little good. What a catch. Greg Little, 14-yard hit, working on Vaughn. And Whedon threw it perhaps to the only place where that kid could catch it.
That's where you have to throw it. And Greg Little has struggled to catch the ball as of late. He contests this one. There's a bobble. Let's see if he can get it in with both feet inbounds. Catch. All in. Now, his feet were in, but from that angle, couldn't quite see if he had control of the ball. See right there. That's going to be close.
It is, and of course
he did maintain control. At what point does he? Okay, he's bobbled, doesn't have it there.
Really on the field.
Right there, he's got it.
Touchdown. The previous play is under review.
Remember, his feet were in the end zone before his backside hit the out of bounds line.
And your backside is like 2 feet.
It's like 2 feet.
A review, 14:01 in the second.
After review, the receiver's left shin and knee are inbounds with control. The ruling on the field is confirmed. It is a touchdown.
So it's a 14-yard touchdown pass, Whedon to Little.
I certainly believe he did have a left knee in before the cheek went out of bounds. Now, did he have possession of the ball? See, right there, he's in. That left knee the official talks about. And it's clear, I think, to the officials that he also had possession of the football.
And what was, as we see, they screw up the hold. Dawson was trying to watch the placement of Hodges, the punter, and the bad snap. It came from Christian Yout. Let's see if it was a bad snap. Fine snap, bad hold.
Bad hold.
Colts lead by 1. Almost as impressive as the catch by Little on the throw by Whedon. They converted 3rd and 11, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 14 on that drive.
And coming into today's game, if you had them in 3rd, 10 or longer, they had only completed 1 of 26 in those situations. Worse in the National Football League. So we're seeing this offense and Whedon grow before our very eyes.
Moeldy Moore will bring it out for the Indianapolis Colts. Flies up to with a L.J. Fort tackle, a 24-yard gain to the 24-yard line. Well, tonight on CBS, take off to Bangladesh on the adventure of a lifetime. An all-new Amazing Race tonight, only on CBS. We've had an 80-yard drive to begin the game by the Colts, countered by a 90-yard drive by the Browns. But a bad hold on the extra point make it 7-6.
Right.
And the Colts getting it for a second time. 1st and 10 from their 24. Rubin is not in the game. We'll try to get an update on him. He hurt his calf in that first defensive series for the Browns. And this is DeLon Carter, who gains 5 on the play. Carter is from Cleveland.
Kevin, usually at home you want to get off to a fast start, and certainly Andrew Luck has done that with his offense, going 4 for 4 on that first initial drive, as you talked about, having marched 80 yards right down the field to put a touchdown on the board, and then capped it off with a run to get it into the end zone. So the young rookie quarterback showing great leadership for his football team today.
John Hughes has taken the place of Ataba Rubin on that line. Scream the 5th defensive back. 2nd down and 5 for Luck. Going deep, working on Brown. Flag thrown. Donnie Avery was the intended receiver inside the 45. Another flag.
This one's going to be interesting because I thought Sheldon Brown was looking back for the ball.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, number 24, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Because he turns the right way. Now, is there any, okay, right there, beyond 5 yards. That's where they say the obstruction was. I thought he played it well as the ball came in. But that late jam to Donnie Avery was well beyond the 5-yard bump area.
They'll move it up a bit now to the 34-yard line. Andrew Luck had a 3-yard touchdown run and an 80-yard drive. 7.5 minutes on the first quarter clock. This off 14-yard touchdown pass. Whedon to Little. It's 1st and 10. Carter chased by Jackson. Hit by Brown. Out of bounds near the 38. Picks up about 5 on the play. Carter, 2 years out of Syracuse, but was the Mr. Football in the Cleveland area by the Plain Dealer. High school football player of the year on offense. Well, coming up on the Verizon halftime report, JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Cowher. All the latest NFL scores and highlights. All coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Boomer and I will be in Chicago for tomorrow night on our radio Monday night football broadcast, Lions and Bears. 2nd down and 5. Carter again into the heap. Hit on there by Kitchen. It's a pickup of 6. Also in there was Sheard. It is a first down to the 45.
And DeLone Carter hadn't played much this season. He was a starter doing the tumultuous year in 2011, and you can see right there, it was just a really good run. Put his head down, attacked the line of scrimmage, offensive line got some movement. They were able to convert and pick up the first down.
Inactive the first 3 games. He played the last 2. 1st and 10. Still the nickel for Cleveland's defense. The blitz by Ward. Moving up nicely is the quarterback Luck, and looking for Wayne, and the coverage on the play among a couple by DeQuell Jackson. He did a pretty good job staying up with the speedy wide receiver Wayne.
It was double coverage on Reggie Wayne. Busts the screen over the top. DeQuell Jackson underneath. As you can see, TJ Ward, 43, coming off the right side of your screen. But watch, 52, Jackson underneath. Screen is supposed to be closer to Reggie Wayne over the top. But when there's double coverage on your favorite receiver, Luck has no choice but to throw it away.
That was his first incompletion of the game.
Yeah, and he did the right thing. You don't force the ball into double coverage.
It's 2nd down and 10. Stands on the block at the left tackle. And a good one. Provides time. A drop ball right there by DeLone Carter. That makes it 3rd and 10. That gives us some time to go to New York and James.
No surprise, Houston getting it done on D.
Oh, Sully, another ex-Cincinnati Bengal. Jonathan Joseph steps into the side, 52-yard interception return. The ball was tipped by J.J. Watt. The 9th time he's tipped the ball this year. How about those Texans playing defense? 16-3 over Baltimore.
You're right, Coach. That is a beautiful sight for Solomon Wilcox. Yeah. Back to Kevin Harlan.
Yeah.
You like Jonathan Joseph, don't you?
You know, I know Coach Cowher loves it. He knows pressure leads to picks, and that's a perfect example of it.
Here's a 3rd down and 10. Sheard was coming through. What a catch made by Donnie Avery. The coverage and the tackle by Usama Young. A 16-yard strike put him at the 41 of Cleveland.
Watch this laser from Andrew Luck. Talk about poise, but look at the accuracy. Dropping this over the linebackers between 3 defenders to Avery, and the courage of Avery to go over the top and make the catch in traffic. But I'm very impressed with the throw. I'm very impressed with the athleticism and the movement within the pocket by Andrew Luck.
Nice awareness, huh?
That's right.
1st down and 10. Nice balance as you see at the top there with this drive. Carter again. Getting a block that time from Reggie Wayne on Ward. The tackle was made by Mayava. The run by Carter. He picks up 6 to the 33 to New York.
And a run that put the Giants ahead.
Yeah, Andre Brown takes the 1-yard out. Remember, the New York Giants 0-2 in the division, so big divisional game right here. They're up 7-3 over the Redskins.
Back to Kevin and Solomon.
The Giants running the ball.
Yeah, whether it's Andre Brown or Ahmad Bradshaw, they tend to be able to run the game. If they're running it this early, you know they run it late in December and January.
Couple tight ends, 2nd down and 4 for Andrew Luck. That was going for Wayne. The coverage on the play by Joe Hayden, who had the pick last week. Now 3rd down and 4.
Reggie Wayne locked up with Joe Hayden. I love what Reggie had to tell us about Andrew Luck. He says he reminds me so much of Peyton Manning. It's scary. He talks about his preparation. He said he'll ask the offensive players, hey guys, can we spend just a little more time watching film? I have a blitz reel I want us all to take a look at. And he said everybody just looks at one another like, this guy is too much like Peyton Manning.
Into the secondary for the Cleveland Browns. 3rd down and 4. In fact, they got 6 back there. Kobe Fleener chased by Jackson. Knocked out of bounds, but not before he picks up a 1st down. The catch and run to the 23, a 10-yard pickup, and a 1st down for Indianapolis.
Now, even though they've had the turnover the roster, Kevin, here with the Indianapolis Colts, gone is a Dallas Clark, but in comes a tight end like Kobe Fleener. In comes another tight end like Dwayne Allen with the multitude in terms of versatility and skill set, but the fact that they can run away from a talented linebacker like DeQuell Jackson, make catches over the middle of the field on the perimeter, tells you they still got some talent here on this roster in Indianapolis.
Sheard and Wynn are the defensive tackles. 1st down and 10. Running back is Ballard off the 23 of Cleveland. Knocked away. Beautiful play. Handed in by T.J. Ward. A beauty as they were going to Wayne.
I think Andrew Luck will tell you that this one's got to be on the front side of Reggie Wayne. He's lucky this one not intercepted by Ward. See, it's got to be on the front side. Lead him. So you throw it behind him. That allows Ward to come in and bat it down. And I think if Ward would have played it well, he could have actually intercepted. See, that back shoulder is not where you want that pass. No way Reggie Wayne can come down with it. Good play by Ward, by the way.
Kevin Wade, a rookie, is in that secondary now. 2nd down and 10. Weldy Moore in the backfield for Luck. And the draw play. Costanzo with the block. Satelli with the block. And a tackle made by Ishmaeli Kitchen. Rookie out of Kent State. That's a gain of 5 down to the 28, I think, at the 18-yard line.
Starting to get a little chippy down there on both sides. Got to hold up. If you're the Cleveland Brown defense, and I'm really amazed the way the Colts are able to both run it and throw it on this drive. 11 plays on the drive for 58 yards. Bruce Arians has dialed up 5 run plays, 6 pass plays. Pat Shurmur, he says, wow, we got the offense going this year in 2012. Now our defense needs to step it up.
These teams have combined 8 of 8 on 3rd downs today. 3rd and 5 for Luck. Caught. Wayne. Tackle. Robertson. That's a 1st down to the 9 of the Browns. He picks up 9 on 3rd and 5. It's 1st and goal for Indianapolis.
Kevin, if you follow the head of the quarterback, watch him rip through the progression. Goes to his right, comes to the middle, and then bam, right down to Reggie Wayne. I think the quickness in which he's able to rip through his progression to eliminate where he cannot go with the ball and know where he should go with the ball, that's what allows these rookie quarterbacks like an Andrew Luck to play at such a high level so early in their career.
Brazil is the extra wide receiver. Moore in the backfield, 1st and goal at the 9. Weldy Moore. Tackled by Uzama Young. That's a gain of 4. He's down to about the 5-yard line. Moore has been around, Ed. He had 9 years out of Tulane. He's jumped around the league, and he finds himself here in Indy.
Andrew Luck said that his biggest challenge coming to the National Football League is, he said, just the amount of protections. He said the width and depth of protections in terms of the defensive looks. He knows that it's incumbent upon him to get the offensive line in the right protection. That's what's going to allow him to have time to throw the football, make checks at the line of scrimmage.
Rookie defensive tackles for the Browns. 2nd goal at the 5, the 14th play of the drive. Luck. He's run for 1 touchdown. He's just run for his 2nd 5-yard touchdown run.
Brandon Wheaton watches Luck run for another touchdown. He says, I got more work to do. And I told you, I said, he is an athletic quarterback, not just a pocket passer alone. 6'4", 235 pounds, but still the ability and athleticism to make plays with his legs. That makes him maybe one of the ultimate weapons. Because you give him time in the pocket, he'll kill you. And if you let him out of the pocket, as you saw there, he can score touchdowns as well.
Vinatieri will tack on one more right here. Avery caught one for 16. Fleener had a catch and run for 10. Wayne caught one for 9. Luck from 5. His second touchdown run today. And the Colts have scored both times they've had it. Up now 14-6. Nice looking drive by Luck. That was for 76 yards and 14 plays. The first one was for 11 plays and 80 yards. 2 touchdown runs. And you can see where that ranks in terms of what the Colts have seen from a quarterback running for a touchdown.
You're telling me Peyton Manning has never done that before? He's done something Peyton Manning has never done?
That's a young Manning, maybe. Huh? Here we go, and Josh Cribbs will bring it out. Brisek is up there leading the way. He finds the seam, and his flag has been thrown. He was hit by McAfee, who kicked off. The flag is back at about the 23-yard line. We're in the second quarter, about halfway through it, in a 14-6 lead for the Colts. 48-yard return by Cribbs.
Cribbs is a weapon.
You talked about it.
Return, holding, number 41, return team. 10-yard penalty. First down, Cleveland.
Ray Ventrone.
Second one on Ventrone.
So we'll see what Whedon and the offense can do, trying to match Luck. That penalty on the kickoff on Cleveland cost him 26 yards.
You know, Ray Ventrone has been flagged twice, bringing back huge returns from Joshua Cribbs today.
First time it cost him 18 yards. Richardson's in the backfield. 1st and 10 from the 14 for Brandon Whedon. Dropped inside. They were looking for the rookie wide receiver Josh Gordon.
Kevin, let's take a look at the touchdown. He wants to get the ball to the running back coming out, Vic Ballard, but Ballard's going to get jammed. He can't make it out into the flat. See, he's jammed right there. He doesn't get here, and so the improvisation of Andrew Luck says, you know what? Since he's taken away my intended receivers, I'm just going to take it and run it in myself. It's just quick processing, understanding. Receiver don't get out, I'm going to have to make a play. He has the ability to do that, breaking down the defense with his legs.
On that Colt defensive line, Clifton Gathers and Lawrence Guys, who was signed this week. Gathers off the practice squad last week. On there right now on that 2nd and 10. It's a diving catch by Little. It's right in front of Vontae Davis. It's a gain of 6. We'll put him at the 20.
Whedon throws 2 consecutive slant plays. He had one to Gordon. That one broken up by the defender. He understood he had to get the second one lower to Greg Little. Allow Little to go down low and make the catch. Difficult for the defender to get that one out.
Greg Little caught the touchdown pass earlier. He was a leading receiver for the Browns a season ago, and the second leading rookie receiver back of A.J. Green in Cincinnati. Here's a 3rd down and 4. Out of the backfield, Obadiah. Mack trying to get a block. Then outside by Gerard Powers. It is a catch and run to the 26. He picks up 6 on the play, and he gets a Cleveland 1st down. They'll get live score updates of all your favorite teams with the new CBS Sportcaster app. Available on select devices with the CBSSports.com/mobile or text SCORE to 42777 to get the free app. 1st down and 10 with a look at Pat Shurmur. Called the plays in St. Louis. Instrumental in the development in Philadelphia. Their quarterbacks under Andy Reid. 1st and 10. Brisek a block. Obadiah. Early block there from Mack. Running over to make the stop is the aforementioned Clifton Gathers, who came off the practice squad. It's a catch and run of 7. He's up to the 33.
Kevin, we told you coming into today's game, Trent Richardson was their leading rusher and receiver, while Obadiah came into today's game as the Browns' 2nd leading receiver. He's good at catching the ball out of the backfield. You see they go to him on 2 consecutive plays, helping to pick up the 1st down and move the chains. Look for him to take a shot. This is what we call a waste down in the NFL. 2nd and 3rd, usually go deep.
Obadiah and Richardson both back there. Here's a 2nd down and 3. Obadiah with the block on Hughes. Richardson hit by Angerer out of Iowa up to about the 35-yard line, picking up 2 on the play and very close to a 1st down.
Well defended. They wanted Greg Little running down the middle of the field. Was well defended. So what do? You check it down to your running back, and that's why Richardson leads the team in receiving. And he's going to be that check down weapon. He allows Whedon to get rid of the ball very quickly.
Three defensive backs. 3rd and 1. Richardson carving his way. I don't think he got it. Yep, he's going to be shy. Gets as far as the 35. Nothing there. So the defense holds. Terrell Freeman coming by with a nice hit, and the Browns have got a punt.
What a find by the Indianapolis Colts. Freeman has led the team in tackles in all of their 5 previous games. Probably going to do it again today. He's got a nose for the football.
Hodges to punt, and T.Y. Hilton, rookie out of Florida International, is back and shielding his eyes from the bright Indiana sun. With our roof open today here in downtown Indy, going to signal for it. A lot of Nottingham, a fair catch, 51-yard punt. And so Luck will get it again. He's had 2 rushing touchdowns himself, 2 long drives, and a 14-6 Colts lead. Colts on top. Steven Spielberg talks about his new film Lincoln and the timeless lessons it holds for today's politicians. That's 60 Minutes tonight right here on CBS. 2 long drives orchestrated by Andrew Luck, the #1 overall pick in the draft, going against Brandon Weeden, who the Browns picked in the first round. Rubin is out because, again, they've got Kitchen out in the middle there. That defensive line for Cleveland. 1st and 10 from the 14. Is in there. No room to run right there. Hit on the play by Jabal Sheard, 2nd-round pick out of Pitt a year ago, and he picks up a yard to the 15-yard line.
And now with just under 4 minutes to go, if you are the Indianapolis Colts, you're Bruce Arians, you want to try to use these 4 minutes. Go into your 4-minute offense, get the ball down the field, try to get some points out of this possession as you have done in the previous 2 when you scored touchdowns on long drives. A field goal or touchdown here just before halftime would be huge for this football team.
It's 2nd down and 9. We've had a lot of penalties, 8 so far.
Start number 80, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's Kobe Fleener. Had a nice 10-yard catch and run on that last drive by Indianapolis.
Well, he's one of the good ones we talked about. He and Dwayne Allen. We asked Bruce Arians about the tight end he had in Pittsburgh, where he had been the offense coordinator for the last few years, and Heath Miller. He said, I get kind of a combination of Heath Miller from both Fleener as well as Allen. So both guys doing a lot of things very well in the offense.
Spring comes in as a 5th defensive back, 2nd down and 14. Good footwork by Luck. Oh, and dropped right in the hands of Hilton. Over there covering was T.J. Ward.
Oh, you got to make this catch, because all you got to do is catch it, fall forward, you're going to get a 1st down. Watch him look away last second. Started to move his head away. That means his eyes probably came off of it even before then.
Ward was a late arrival. It was really Joe Hayden over there who was defending him.
3 drop balls so far by Bruce Arians receivers, and the interim head coach is hot.
Weldy Moore is in the backfield with Luck, 3rd and 14, looking into the nickel. Here comes Sheard. Oh, what a catch. Beauty with Screen making the tackle on Reggie Wayne. A 13-yard pickup, very close to a 1st down. They'll be at about the 23. Looks like maybe even a yard shy.
Yeah, you'd be a little shy, but I don't know how Reggie Wayne held on to this ball. He's playing his best football. 12 years in the NFL, all those years with Peyton Manning, having his best season ever. He holds onto that ball with Buster Screen draped all over.
We talked to him a couple days ago, and he was mentioning that he was looking around a couple teams that were real serious, wanting to sign him, and he said it was one phone call which kind of spun his whole attitude and brought him back to Indy.
And it came from Chuck Pagano. And remember, he was at the University of Miami, and Chuck Pagano was the defensive back coach there, and Wayne and Ed Reed were college roommates at the University of Miami. He talked to Ed Reed, and you know, he's known Pagano for so many years that Pagano just said to him, hey, you know, just take a leap of faith with me. And Reggie Wayne thought enough of Chuck Pagano to take that leap of faith to help turn this football team around and help build a new tradition under their new head coach.
Timeout was taken by Cleveland. They've got 1 left, and Indy's got 1 left. You see the measurement right there with a look at Bruce Arians in his interim role as the head coach, taking the place of head coach Chuck Pagano.
And he'll tell you, no one can take Chuck Pagano's place.
Pagano hospitalized since late September while being treated for leukemia. Watching us right now.
With the Chuck Strong band that everyone is wearing here at Lucas Oil Stadium. I even have one. Chuck Pagano, we all support him, of course, and Bruce Arians continues to support him. Want to win football games to show that support.
Well, it's 4th and inches. Let's see what they do. Maybe try to draw him outsides here. Luck. Count. Maybe going to trigger something real.
Mike McGlynn is saying they move first. The right guard for Indianapolis.
The rookie win.
And he did.
Yep. He was big last
Neutral
week.
zone infraction. Number 50, defense. His movement into the neutral zone caused a reaction by the offense. 5-yard penalty. Yardage results in a first down.
Listen up. Mike McGlynn saying we got him.
Wynn had the nice play last week. The fumble recovery for 35 yards, but you're right, they got the rookie.
And he is a rookie, and sometimes rookies need to hold their water, and he'll learn from that mistake.
Nick Ballard into that field, 1st and 10 from the 29. And brought in on the play as catch was made by T.Y. Hilton. It's a pickup of 7. Sheldon Brown makes the stop to the 36.
Yeah, they go a little hurry up and try to see if they can beat the clock and get themselves into field goal range and try to put points on the board.
2nd down and 3. Hilton pushed out of bounds by Hayden. T.Y. Hilton, he's a rookie out of Florida International. The T.Y. is short for Tyrone, which was his dad's name.
Yeah, and Tyrone, he's not that big at 5'9", 185 pounds, but he can fly. And I think showing the ability to break off that route in front of Joe Hayden and makes the catch this time to pick up the first down after dropping one early.
So they've gone to Hilton for 7 and 15 yards. He had some big plays against Jacksonville earlier. A 40-yard reception, 36, 32-yard reception. All part of a 113-yard receiving day against the Jaguars. On the 50, 1st and 10 for Luck with a timeout remaining. Good block by Costanza, the left tackle. That time they're going with the coverage provided by Robertson on the tight end, the rookie Dwayne Allen, incomplete.
Robertson's been a huge find for the Cleveland Browns on defense. He's very active in the run game. Very good in terms of his pass coverage. Already has 2 interceptions so far this year.
He was on the Cleveland practice squad at the end of last season for the final 2 weeks.
And now you can see why he's playing. Every time you turn around, it's 53 Robinson in on a play.
You mentioned the interceptions by the Browns defense. They've got 10, which is 3rd in the NFL. On 2nd down and 10, Luck. Moving up nicely, hit by Kitchen. Oh, they had his receiver, and it was incomplete. They were going for Wayne, and the coverage by Buster Screen.
Oh, this is just an adjustment by Reggie Wayne. He could have adjusted a little bit better for his rookie quarterback. That chemistry still under work.
Well, coming off arguably his worst day as a pro quarterback last week against the Jets. Some pretty good numbers for Andrew Luck here this afternoon.
Having his best day, probably. 5 for 5 on 3rd down so far, faced with a 3rd and 10. Look for him maybe take a shot over the middle of the field.
6 in the secondary for the Browns, 3rd down and 10. Moore was in the backfield. Going deep and looking for Brazil with the coverage on the play by Sheldon Brown. Looking for Levon Brazil, a rookie out of Ohio.
Well, they take a shot down the sideline. He gets man-to-man coverage to the outside. See, they double Wayne over the middle of the field. That's why he goes outside. Would have preferred to go to Wayne, but you're not going to force it into double coverage. Screen on the outside of Wayne, Ward on the inside, so you take a shot against Sheldon Brown to the outside with Brazil.
McAfee's punt, and his net is over 40 yards. They're looking for Cribs. Great spin down at the 10. Nice play by McAfee. Touchdown by Tom Zabriskie. And coming up, Zivakowski on the Verizon halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Bill Cowher. With all the latest NFL scores, news, and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. That was a 40-yard punt. And here comes Whedon with the timeout in his back pocket. Solomon, he'll be down at his 11-yard line with the 1st and 10.
If you're Brandon Whedon, Kevin, you got to think that 142 is enough time to make something happen. But make sure that something is something positive and not a turnover.
Colts will have 5 in the secondary. On 1st and 10, the handoff goes to Hardesty, who runs outside. First time we've seen him today. Hit by Powers and whacked on the play in the secondary by Vontae Davis. It's a gain of 6. Hardesty ran hard last week.
Yeah, in the absence of Trent Richardson, when Richardson left the game with that rib injury, it was Hardesty who came in, gave him a rushing touchdown, gave him productive plays rushing the football. I love their stable of running backs that seem to have grown. They're young but talented.
2nd down, long 3. Schwartz with the block. It's by Jordan Cameron. He's run out of bounds by Bethea. The catch and run for 4. They'll spot him at the 22. They get the first down, and the clock is stopped at 1:08.
You love the awareness by Cameron. That's the reason why the clock did stop at 1:08. He makes the grab. He knew where the sticks was. He turned it up for first down and still fought to get out of bounds against Antoine Bethea. That's what coaches love. Players who play with that high football IQ understand the situation.
Cameron had that great 23-yard pass reception last week on 3rd and 1 against the Bengals. Obadiah is in. It's 1st and 10. On the move, Watson as he tangles with Moses Foku. Catch and run of 9. He's to the 31 and about a yard shy of a first down. And now Whedon is at his last 6 consecutive passes.
And how about Pat Shurmur? They do the same play to Ben Watson on the other side of the field that they did with Cameron Jordan. Take a look at the target line for Phil Dawson just before you hit that 35-yard line. 56-yarder is his longest.
2nd down and 1. Schwartz the block. First down catch. Obadiah makes the grab, and that is a gain of 4. Chris is out of Texas. He was off that Houston practice squad and originally a 7th-round pick by St. Louis. Chris Obadiah. Now from the 35, 1st and 10. Here they come. They got by Schwartz. That ball is thrown way out of bounds over the head of Cooper. They're coming from the wing.
Both Jerry Hughes and Dwight Freeney. Haven't talked a lot about Freeney today. He's battling injuries, but they're just glad to have him and not have without having Robert Mathis in the game. Freeney's doing his best. He's playing outside linebacker. Watch him press the pocket, working against Joe Thomas, coming in from the blind side there. You can see Hughes tripping up Brandon Wheaton. How about Jerry Hughes giving it a little something extra to get the quarterback on the ground?
Obadiah remains 2nd down and 10. Outside, and he's looking for Cooper again with the coverage on the play provided by Gerard Powers. He's out of Auburn.
No pressure in the face of Brandon Wheaton that time by Antonio Johnson. Prevented him from stepping up in the pocket to drive that ball home, force the incompletion. Now 3rd and 10. 30 seconds to go. I'm surprised we yet to see Josh Gordon go deep. They have Travis Benjamin back in today's game, and he is yet to go deep.
6 now in the secondary for Indianapolis. Josh Gordon has entered the fray. 3rd and 10. Obadiah up the middle, grabbed on the play by Jarrell Freeman. It's a gain of 6, and he's up to the 41-yard line.
Get 3rd and long, and just seconds to go in the second half. Pat Shurmur goes conservative. Hey, just run a draw and see if we can pop it. If we don't, then yeah, we'll punt it. Try to bleed the clock and not allow Indianapolis to have another offensive play.
Now Indy had the timeout, and there he calls it. So a timeout with 1 second left. As
Shurmur like, are you kidding me? You want to keep that 1 second so he can punt the football or take a knee?
Well, it's been a very interesting couple of weeks here for the Colts over the last 2 weeks. A stunning upset of Green Bay, followed by the disappointing 26-point road loss last week against the New York Jets. Trying to navigate a head coach who they were believing in, following, who is in his own battle. And, you got a rookie quarterback. You got all these rookies sprinkled throughout your roster. Huge rebuilding project here in the wake of the departure of Peyton Manning. So much on the plate. Brand new front office. A lot going on here with the Indianapolis Colts.
But Ryan Grigson, the general manager of the Colts, I think he's done a wonderful job. He and Chuck Pagano, they're transforming a defense that had 4-3 personnel and quietly transforming them into a 3-4 team that can play in the likes of what Pagano had when he was the coordinator in Baltimore.
All right, a flag has been thrown. The time is gone. You saw the kneel down by Wheaton.
Defense, 12 men on the field, 5-yard penalty. That yardage results in a first down. Will extend the quarter for one play.
Now why not just throw it deep? Get that baby in the end zone.
They're going to go all four.
Sure.
As you can see, Gary Brown, the running back coach, called it for all four. Usually when you call for all four, that means a Hail Mary play, throwing the ball down the field for a touchdown. That timeout could come back to haunt Bruce Arians if this thing ends up resulting in points.
Hey, I was in Seattle on that Monday night. I saw firsthand what a Hail Mary play can do.
Oh, yes, you did.
Here we go. One play left. Let's see what Wheaton does. You see the assortment of receivers. Hughes is blocked. Wheaton, he has got a rocket for an arm. Into the end zone and knocked away. Looked like Bethea was the one to leap up there and knock it away. 2 rushing touchdowns by Andrew Luck, and the Colts are on top 14-6. You're watching the NFL on CBS, the home of Super Bowl 47. As the touchdown pass for the Browns, 2 running touchdowns by Luck of the Colts. We start the second half with Indy on top. Kevin Harlan, Solomon Wilcott, some of your first half thoughts.
Well, I love the play of both quarterbacks, both Brandon Wheaton and Andrew Luck, playing with a high level of efficiency, keeping their teams on the field, converting third downs. That's why each team have had 3 possessions in the first half of the ball game, making good use of their time with the football.
Let's take a look at one of the highlights that stands out in that first half. It's the Droid Razor M play presented by Motorola. Here you see Luck after the fake to Hilton and glides in for 6. And through 30 minutes of football, here are some of the numbers from Indy this afternoon. Time of possession. Third down conversion, Solomon, very impressive for both teams so far.
And that's why both teams have been able to stay on the field. You convert 5 of 7 third down plays in the first half. You're going to have some time to manage and gain yards, both running and throwing the football. Right now, I think Indianapolis making the most of their time. Obviously, the 14 points scored in the first half is the best indicator of it. Remember, the Colts did score the touchdown, missed the extra point on the hold. It was a botched hold by Hodges, and so they trail 14-6. But both quarterbacks, I think, playing very well, Kevin.
Colts come in 2-3. Browns come in after their first win in 12 games last week when they beat Cincinnati, and come in 1-5. So McAfee will be kicking off for Indianapolis. And Cribbs is back for the Cleveland Browns. Cribbs is always a threat with 8 kickoff return touchdowns in his career. And our second half is underway in downtown Indy. We'll leave it there. So out to the 20-yard line, first down and 10. Let's take a look now at Brandon Whedon's first half and what he did.
Well, we told you both quarterbacks played so well in the first half. Andrew Luck began the game, completing his first 4 passes, then run it in for a touchdown. Whedon bounced back on that second possession, touchdown pass to Greg Little, and then what does Andrew Luck do? Runs for his second touchdown of the game, showing us great athleticism. We know he can throw it, but he can also run it as well. So both quarterbacks kind of picking up where they left off in college, battling one another.
Ontario Hardesty will be in the backfield here on this first down and 10, and is quickly stopped in his tracks by Jerry Hughes. Now playing the stand-up outside linebacker after being defensive end, losing a yard to the 19.
And you see what the Cleveland Browns did with their 3 first-half possessions. We talked about scoring a touchdown on the first one, going 16 plays, 90 yards, then a punt, and then, of course, the end of the first half. Getting the ball here on the first possession in the second half. Pat Shermer's got to get some points out of this one, because they're chasing the Colts on the scoreboard, not having secured that extra point.
Second down 11. Whedon to Little. And the coverage on the play by linebacker Cavell Connor. It is a pickup of 8 and mark him at the 27.
Boy, Whedon almost held on to that one. One tick too long. Dwight Freeney coming off the right side, breathing down his neck right there, and then he gets rid of it, finds the receiver open down the field. So I'm really surprised, though, that the Browns haven't pushed the ball down the field in the passing game, because Gordon comes in having had some long touchdown receptions of 62 and 71 yards in recent weeks.
Openaya is in with the assortment of receivers. 3rd and 3, 5 in the secondary. Thomas with the block, and there's Cooper, who's brought down by Vontae Davis. That is a catch and run to the 41, 14-yard pickup, and a Cleveland first down.
Whedon kind of compared Cooper to Wes Welker and talked about the body language, just his feel to find the open holes in the defense. And he said, Tom Brady has one. I wanted one. He went to the front office members with the Cleveland Browns, said, you've got to sign this guy Cooper out of Oklahoma State. Went undrafted. The Browns signed him, and look what he's done.
Hardesty on 1st and 10. And he picks up a yard on the play, and an avalanche of blue bringing him down at Oklahoma State. They were teammates from 2008 through 2012. Cooper finished with over 700 receiving yards each of his last 2 seasons, including 5 100-yard games for the Cowboys. Dana Holgerson was the one-time offensive mind for the junior year of Whedon down in Stillwater.
And even Peyton Manning has one, and Brandon Stokely. You need the talented, heady receivers like what Josh Cooper brings to the table for the Browns.
Hardesty is in. And that's a catch by Watson. 2nd down and 9. Rumbling his way with Hughes, dragging from behind to the 34. Nice catch and run at 25, and a first down for the Browns, who have come out of the second half on fire.
Remember, Jerry Hughes, 92, a former defensive end, now being asked to play outside linebacker in this 3-4 alignment. Is he the perfect fit for that position? Time will tell. But he's having to make the adjustments to do these kinds of things, something he was not asked to do previously. Cover a tight end like Watson in space.
First down and 10, the fake to Hardesty. Good block by Marisek, and he's looking for Gordon. What a catch, and what a touchdown. They beat Gerard Powers. A 33-yard strike from quarterback Brandon Whedon.
It was only a matter of time before they were going to give Josh Gordon an opportunity to make a play down the field against one-on-one coverage. Look at that, 4 touchdown receptions. This is just a beautiful throw by Brandon Whedon. I'm more impressed. Look at him flip the hips. Handball catcher for a touchdown to beat the defender. He knew where he was on the sideline and scored a touchdown. If you are the Cleveland Brown coaching staff, you got to be proud of the quarterback wide receiver there.
Dawson with the extra point on the hold by Hodges. Another touchdown reception. Gordon's 4th in less than 3 games. He beats the veteran Powers. The 2nd touchdown pass by Whedon. Gordon was taken in the supplemental draft. He caught touchdown passes a couple weeks ago against the Giants of 62 and 20 yards from Whedon. Last week, 71 yards. He just lassoed a 33-yard pass. This kid right now is something else.
And when we talked about he and Whedon and what this offense could possibly be, he looked at us and said, it's just the beginning. You gotta love it.
Enjoyed visiting with him last night, and Cassius Vaughn will keep it in the end zone, going to a knee, a touchback to the 20, where it'll be first down and 10 for Luck, who has 2 rushing touchdowns himself.
Take a look at the touchdown pass. Here's Gordon at the bottom of the screen. It's a stutter and then go against Gerard Powers. But what's even more impressive, he thought the ball was going to be thrown on the inside. Look at him get behind Powers. The ball's thrown on that opposite shoulder. He flips the hips, still catch the ball cleanly, and just walks in for a touchdown. It makes it look so easy. That's what the good ones always do.
5 in the secondary here now facing Luck on the touchback to the 20. The Colts' first second half possession. First down and 10. Ballard. And he was tripped up initially by Sheldon Brown, but wheels his way for 5. One more finishing thought on Gordon, who played a lot of baseball as a kid. Remains his favorite sport, he says, even to the day. But that's where his great hand-eye comes from. And you saw he catches it with his hand. He catches everything with his hands. Not his body, but with his hands. And like we said before, he has been on a tear with 4 TDs in less than 3 complete games.
Very impressed with him in our production meeting yesterday. Well spoken. This kid, I'm telling you, sky's the limit.
2nd and 5, and Ballard again. Got a nice block from Costanzo. He digs his way for a first down. Walked down on the play by Robertson. Ward was there. Gain of 6. First down for the Colts.
Well, the Colts now want to answer. They can come out running the ball. Listen in. Whoa. Robertson said, wow. The running back was sticking his foot in the ground, coming downhill looking for contact.
Ballard starting in place of the injured Donald Brown, who had his knee scoped. He is not playing today and didn't play last week. First and 10 with Hilton on the move. Justice with the block at the right tackle. That is caught. Screen was paired up against Reggie Wayne. That's a pickup of 8 on first down for the Colts.
Now, this is new for Reggie Wayne also, and this offense brought over by Bruce Arians. They move him around a lot. He used to just go to one side. Now you see him in the slot running the option route, and anytime busts a screen has not had help covering Reggie Wayne. Wayne has caught the ball.
On a nickel here by the Browns. In fact, every defensive play so far as the run goes for Ballard and 4 yards. A group getting him down, including Robertson, and DeQuell Jackson moved the chains again. He's up to the 43.
How about Luck? Has his offense on the move now, looking to answer what Brandon Wheaton was able to. Both guys know each other well, having attended the Peyton Manning Passing Academy in Thibodaux, Louisiana over the summer growing up.
Luck with the first and 10. The quick slant goes to Wayne, hit by Sheldon Brown. Brought down quick hitter right there of 7 yards. To the 50.
They're both the young rookie quarterbacks, Brandon Wheaton, Andrew Luck. Wheaton told us it was just one of the biggest growth experiences when both were able to attend that Peyton Manning Passing Academy. Talked about the things that Peyton Manning taught him and coach. He said he coaches every drill and every detail and has made both of them better quarterbacks.
Rubin has been out since early in the game on 2nd down and 3. Nails one right there with Donnie Avery, 5 years out of Houston, pickup of 6, and that is a first down. They'll put him at the 44 of the Cleveland Browns.
Andrew Luck going to work right now. 3 plays running, 3 plays passing, 6 plays, 36 yards on the drive. Luck talks about eliminating turnovers, keeping 2 hands on the ball in the pocket. All of those things helping to secure the ball while helping to move the ball down.
Ron Carter, as Ed said earlier, is from Cleveland. He's really from the Cleveland area, from Akron, where he was a terrific high school player. Here's a first and 10 from the 44, and this is Carter. The block from Flynn. And a tackle by DeQuell Jackson. Gain of 5. Boy, just moving downfield, just small chunks of yards to the 39.
And neither defense has been able to get the ultimate stop. I think what we saw, the Browns are the only ones who've punted so far in this game, and they only punted once. And you know, Pat Shermer, the offense coordinator of the Cleveland Browns, you know, he's turned this offense around seemingly, only averaging 13 points per game last year, averaging 22 points a game this year. Now he wants his defense to show up and get some stops. They've been good at getting turnovers. Now see what they can do here.
Down in 5, Carter again, picking and poking his way inside. Hughes will make the stop. That is a gain of 3. We'll be at the 36. We've seen long drives by the Colts today. 11 plays, 80 yards. 14 plays, 76 yards. And 2 Luck touchdowns resulting on those in the plays called by Bruce Arians.
I think the inability of the Cleveland Browns defense to get off the field. Bruce Arians, yes, doing a really good job of calling the game. But this defense for the Cleveland Browns, missing a Phil Taylor from the middle of that defense. They got Hayden back, played much better last week. But today, they've just not been able to get off the field. As you see the Colts leading in time of possession.
On 3rd down and 2, this is Carter carving his way for the first. Ward makes the stop down to the 33 on a gain of 3. This drive started back at the 20, and they have just cut their way left and right and up the middle to get the first downs and keep it going.
We told you the Cleveland Brown defense, they were a top 10 defense 1 year ago, Kevin. And they allowed 19 points per game last year. You can see Dick Duran's defense now. They've sank, and they're the 30th ranked defense this year, giving up 27 points per game.
Green's been added to the secondary. They got 5, 10 play of the drive. First down and 10. Luck. Incomplete. Hayden is going to be called right there, defending T.Y. Hilton.
I don't know that this is a legitimate try. His ball was thrown more out of bounds. I don't know that it was even catchable. And that's what they're going to consult with the officials. And even Pat Shermer's like, are you kidding me? This was nowhere near the receiver, even though there was a little contact downfield. The ball was clearly thrown out of bounds, trying to go to the back shoulder, but I don't know that this one was even catchable. They're trying to keep Pat Shermer from getting down to attend that conference between the officials.
You know, you were talking about Andrew Luck, and the environment that he finds himself in. Here's Arians, a very long-time experienced.
There's no penalty for defensive pass interference. The pass landed out of bounds and was uncatchable.
Yeah. I think that was the right call, and Coach Shermer agrees with me. It's working against Hayden over on the left side of your screen. Is there a little contact, incidental right there? But look, that ball, you know, we told you, T.Y. Hilton, he's 5'9", 185. He's going to have to be twice that size for that ball to be catchable.
Second down and 10. Stanza with a nice block. Here comes Luck again on the move and incomplete. Looking for Wayne. Coverage by DeQuell Jackson. Not a couple, but visiting with Luck, we're talking about the environment that he finds himself in. Clyde Christensen was here with Peyton Manning. Bruce Arians was with Roethlisberger up in Pittsburgh. I mean, he's got the environment to really thrive.
We always talk about what does it take for young quarterbacks to really succeed when drafted so high. We need consistency in scheme and coaching staff around. You need great minds like a Bruce Arians who worked with a young Peyton Manning who helped foster the career of Ben Roethlisberger. Keeping those things intact for a number of years around Luck, I think that's going to bode well for him and the football team.
3rd and 10, blitz was on, and they get the pass away and caught about the 23. Ward is there. Allen makes the grab. Jackson makes the stop. Very close to a first down as they went to the tight end rookie Dwayne Allen out of Clemson.
This is a great play by Allen because he catches it short of the first down marker. But watch him turn up and sort of drag Ward for extra yards. Look at him work toward that first down marker. He understood where he was on the field. I don't know that he's going to get the spot, but it was a tremendous effort.
Really, Ward was the one to do it. Now, Ward has got a cast on his broken right hand and thumb. Here's a 4th down and 1. They got both Carter and Ballard, and this is Carter. He's got the first down into the avalanche of Browns defenders. He picks up 2. They're going to give him the first down and spot him at the 22, and the drive continues for Indianapolis.
Oh, that was an opportunity for Dick Jauron's defense to get off the field. Someone with the Cleveland Browns in their huddle has got to say, guys, here's our chance. Because they've not been able to stop this Colts offense throughout the day and get off the field, get the ball back for your offense without allowing points. 18 first down so far in the game against this Cleveland Browns defense.
Upcoming is the 14th play of this Colt drive, which started back at their 20. 2 tight ends. Timeout. Luck didn't like it, and there was very little time left on the play clock. We're under 5. The clock ticking here in the 3rd. Colts are on the move and up by 1. A lot of interesting numbers, but the time of possession, very interesting.
Well, yeah, the Colts are dominating in time of possession, but both teams are very efficient with each possession.
There's a 1st and 10 from the 22 at Cleveland. Long drive started back at the 20-yard line. Ooh, and down he goes. Luck is sacked on the play. Maiava came through. Jackson was right there. But Maiava with the sack, the first of the game. They'll push him back to the 27-yard line and a loss of 5.
You know, we talked about being efficient on both teams in terms of the offense. This is the first sack of either quarterback we've had in this ball game. Normally you see sacks getting racking up when it comes to rookie quarterbacks. You can see the Colts drives today. The first 2 resulted into touchdowns, and then you can see the time of possession where they've been really dominant, pulling off double-digit plays at just about each possession.
Second down and 15 with 5 in the secondary for the Browns. Stands for a good block. There's deflected and incomplete. Coming through is Jackson. And the intended receiver was Donnie Avery, the veteran. Incomplete.
You talk about time of possession, Kevin. You talk about the Colts' ability to keep the ball. And they haven't had a turnover. The Colts, we haven't had 1 turnover in this game today. That one nearly intercepted. You intercept all tips and overthrows on the defensive side of the ball, but just speaks to how cleanly this game has been played by both offensive football teams.
5 defensive backs, 16th play of the drive coming up. Assortment of receivers for Luck. 3rd and 15. They need the 12. blow that dead.
False start. Number 69, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Winston Justice, the right tackle.
That's the 7th penalty for the Indianapolis Colts at 3rd and 20. What do you do there? First of all, you don't take a sack here. Make sure that you stay in field goal range. Bruce Arians is going to probably try to get maybe a 7 or 10 yard type play and making sure that Luck doesn't put the ball in harm's way.
DB's 3rd and 20. Underneath. Good tackle made by Screen, who led him in tackles last week. That's Donnie Avery with the catch. 13-yard pickup. That's going to set up a 3-point try now. A field goal attempt coming up by Vinatieri.
And ideally, this is what you want to do, a 3rd 20. Run everyone off and try to get something underneath. Get the field goal just a little bit closer. Nothing's guaranteed. Avery makes the catch in front of the defense, and in comes Adam Vinatieri.
Well, you basically take what was going to be a 50-yard attempt, and now you make it a 38-yarder. Vinatieri, 10 of 13. Had that game winner here against the Vikings a couple weeks ago, right down the middle. 38-yard field goal. They come up with 3 and extend their lead in the 3rd quarter. 17-13 the Colts. Well, the Indy Colts have had it 4 times today, an 11-play drive, a 14-play drive. They just concluded a 17-play drive with a 38-yard field goal, all engineered and orchestrated by the top pick in the draft, Andrew Luck out of Stanford. Now the subsequent kickoff. And McAfee will knock it to Cribbs, who is the number 3 kickoff return man in the NFL. He'll leave it in the end zone, going to a knee, and to the 20-yard line with the touchback. Browns are down by 4. Whedon back out there, 3:19 in the 3rd. Beautiful State Capitol building here in Indy. 38-yard field goal moments ago by Vinatieri. Here's the subsequent possession by Cleveland, 1st and 10. And Whedon finds Little, who's covered by Powers on the play. It's a gain of 12 and a 1st down, pinpoint throw. Hardesty is in and Richardson is out. Coming in with bruised ribs. He's out of the game right now.
Only 8 carries for 8 rushing yards, 10 total touches in the ball game so far. He has to be disappointed. You know, he prides himself on his toughness. He's a guy that missed due to injuries the entire preseason and most of training camp.
Had surgery in preseason and has become a leader, one of the captains on this team. Whedon is at 5 consecutive passes, 1st and 10 from the 31. Fake to Hardesty. Here comes Little. Got a touchdown pass earlier in the game, and that time he was caught up to by Jarrell Freeman. It is a loss of about a yard on the play. Back to the 31, and we go back to New York with James.
Nip and tuck in Buffalo.
Oh, Fitzpatrick 5 of 5 on the drive, culminated by this 15-yarder to Donald Jones. Great throw, great catch, even better dance. Watch this one, guys.
I don't know what you call that, Coach, but
He's happy.
That much we can figure that one out. Back to Kevin and Solomon. Hey, Solomon, what do you call that?
That's a little MJ. Michael Jackson going on there.
2nd down, 11. This time going a little bit deep. It looked like Gordon got tangled up that time with Vontae Davis, who they traded for in the preseason. Incomplete. 3rd down and 11.
Starts with pressure on Brandon Wheat. You don't have time to throw it, and you don't have time to wait for the receiver to get open. As you can see, getting rid of that one before he gets knocked down to the ground. You provide pressure on the quarterback. It helps your coverage on the back end. Right now, Pat Anger providing some pressure.
Why didn't she say he was dancing like James Brown instead of MJ?
You should have said James Brown. It just reminded me
Come on,
of
it was a setup. It was
no one is going to confuse the dances between James Brown and the dances between Michael Jackson.
It was right there.
Just saying.
3rd and 11. They got to go to the dirt that time. In the backfield, they had Obanaya. It's incomplete, and that drive fizzles, and they got to punt the ball.
And that was the Browns' possession right there, 2nd of the half, and they get nothing from it. So how about the Indianapolis Colts defense? We talked about one of them needing to pitch a shutout and get off the field to get the ball back for their offense. And it's the Indianapolis Colts defense making a stand.
4 plays punt. Here comes Hodges. He had the botched hold on the PAT early in the game. And he'll sling this downfield. T.Y. Hilton is there. From his 17, little hesitation, then brought down by Buster Stream. 52-yard punt, 7-yard return. It goes back to the Colts, and Luck. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Don't miss Phil Simms, Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, and special guest Dan Fouts on NFL Monday QB. Comes your way tomorrow, 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. First and 10 after the four-play punt possession by Cleveland. And Carter holding on for dear life and then smothered inside. Jackson was on him. Also, they had win. Gain of 3 to the 27.
Here are some of the best quarterbacks to replace NFL legends. Roger Staubach replaced Don Meredith to win a Super Bowl in Dallas. Doug Williams, the MVP of Super Bowl 22, followed Joe Theismann in Washington. Steve Young led the 49ers to a Super Bowl after replacing Joe Montana. And how about Aaron Rodgers, who replaced Brett Favre to become a Super Bowl MVP in Green Bay. And now Andrew Luck is trying to fill some big shoes, replacing Peyton Manning here in Indianapolis. We've seen it happen before, but rarely does an organization get this lucky to go from a Peyton Manning to an Andrew Luck. And look at the numbers in their first 5 career games. Better completion percentage for Manning, better passing yards for Andrew Luck, and the touchdown to interception ratio better for Luck. But the ability to go out and win games, you might say Luck has maybe a better team around him than Peyton Manning did in his early going when he was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts.
Sheldon Brown being helped off the field. That was the reason for our interruption right there. You know, extending that conversation just a little bit, it's interesting in talking with these coaches about why they think that these young quarterbacks can just come right in the NFL and find success and hit the ground running.
The college game has them doing more in the passing game now. We see the spread offenses at the college level where they're having to call audibles at the line of scrimmage, set protections, and then a Peyton Manning passing academy for college students really helps them to reach the NFL ready to play day one.
Sammy Young comes in for the injured Browns. 2nd and 7. Luck weaving and dancing and finally doused by Frosty Rucker. He was the big free agent signing this past winter for Cleveland, 4 years and $20 million. Second sack by the Browns.
How about this? Cleveland Browns defense decide they want to come out and play, try to get a stop, getting pressure against Andrew Luck, and then a sack. There's Frosty Rucker right there, putting his face in the chest of Andrew Luck. 7th season out of USC. He's really helped stabilize this pass defense. They have to get more pressure, but so far they have had 2 sacks on Andrew Luck today.
So they lose 2 on the sack, back to the 25, which now brings up 3rd down and 9. 5 in the secondary. Luck almost, it looked like Ward was going to cut and maybe even make a play for the ball on a pass intended for T.Y. Hilton up around midfield. Incomplete, wide on the throw. They got a punt.
Quarterback wants to complete passes through windows. He wants T.Y. Hilton in the first window, not the second one. And then against zone, if you're Hilton, you've got to settle down in that hole. Yeah, that's where experienced wide receivers really do help their quarterback. As opposed to running through the zone, you settle in the zone.
McAfee will punt to Cribbs, number 2 in the NFL in punt returns, and he's got room to roam here. Back at his 16. Ventrone with the block and then brought down on the play and hit by the long snapper, Matt Overton. Flag is down. That was a 59-yard punt, a 16-yard return, and a busy day for Carl Cheffers. We've had 7 penalties on the Colts and 5 penalties on the Cleveland Browns. These are 2 teams that are linked going back to the 40s, and I'll tell you why in a second here.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 94 of the return team. 10-yard penalty. First down, Cleveland.
All right, Thursday on CBS, see why Elementary is TV's #1 news show. Thursdays, only on CBS. These 2 franchises are linked. Go back to December of 1949 when there was a merger of the National Football League and the All-America Football League, and 3 members of the AAFL came into the NFL. The Cleveland Browns, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Baltimore Colts. First season as a group was back in 1950. Here's a 1st and 10 flag, and the pitch out went that time to the running back who's in now for Trent Richardson.
Number 84, offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Hardesty got it, and the penalty.
Penalty on Jordan Cameron. You should take a look at the numbers for Luck and Wheaton. Both playing very well. It shows no touchdowns next to Andrew Luck, but he's already run for 2 so far today. Richardson out, that rib injury bothering him. Gordon has hit for another long ball, the variety of 33 yards for a touchdown in this game.
2 tights, Benjamin in, 1st and 15. Whedon looking for Benjamin, broken up by Zibikowski, the ex-Baltimore Raven. Hard hitter out of Notre Dame. It'll be 2nd down and 15.
Coaches want to bring players who know their system very well. Zibikowski played with Chuck Pagano's Baltimore Ravens on that defense, and you see him recognizing the route run by Benjamin, able to slash in underneath, get the ball out, but he brings with him an IQ and an understanding of how to run this 3-4 defensive scheme brought to Indianapolis by Chuck Pagano.
That's a good point. Into the nickel, 2nd and 15. Good block by Thomas. That's on the money. Caught by Benjamin. Tears his way away from Davis. And then hit on the play by Freeman. It is a pickup of 12. They'll put him to the 23. Shy of a 1st down by about 3. On the 12-yard catch by Travis Benjamin, a rookie out of Miami, and a 4th-round pick. The quarter comes to a close. Young players playing well. The quarterbacks haven't disappointed. Luck against Whedon. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. There's a look at our story through 3 quarters of play. Indianapolis is on top. Cleveland's coming back a little bit throughout the season. They did last week and beat Cincinnati.
They scored 21 points in the 4th quarter last week against Cincinnati. That was at home.
3rd and 3, Whedon. And throws him back at his receiver, Gordon. Zibikowski was on him. 4th and 3, and they'll have to punt for a 2nd consecutive time.
Yeah, and it looked like that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, Kevin. We talked about them scoring the 21 points right there. You see that ball was tipped. It was knocked down. That was Freeman got a hand on the ball. Cleveland they've lost 10 consecutive games on the road. And so you talk about a young team trying to grow up. This is one of those pivotal moments if they're going to take a step forward.
Hilton is deep back, and Hodges will punt it to him. And they'll down the ball at about the 36, 37-yard line. 39-yard punt. Luck will get back up there and on his horse. Up by 4 early in the 4th. 2 rushing touchdowns by Luck. 2 touchdown passes by Whedon. 3 and out by Cleveland. Here's a 1st and 10 for Luck at his own 37-yard line. Sheldon Brown back in there, by the way, bad ankle and all. A nice tackle there by Hayden. He'll hit you. He tackles, and they love that. It's a gain of 2 on the play by Vic Ballard. Well, join the NFL and the American Cancer Society in the fight against breast cancer by supporting a Crucial Catch campaign. Visit NFL.com/auction to bid on authentic NFL pink gear worn by players and coaches. 100% of proceeds benefit the American Cancer Society. 2nd down and 8.
Shut up! Blue 60! Blue 7!
Luck. Kitchen's coming. Rucker couldn't get him. Luck on the fly. Mayava ushers him out of bounds. That is a gain of 4. Up to the 44 as we usher in James from our CBS studios.
Giants capitalize on a Skins mistake.
Yeah, RG3 is going to make his throw. A little sails on him. Stevie Brown's going to pick it off. He's going to take it back. This will lead to a Bradshaw 1-yard touchdown run in this important NFC East game. This is the Giants up 20-13.
Giants looking to win their 3rd straight. Kevin Harlan and Solomon Wilcox.
RG3 has certainly made that Redskin team a different kind of team.
The Redskins were the only team to beat the Giants twice all of last season.
That's a good note. 3rd down and 4. 5 in the secondary. Luck. Short, incomplete. There was Sheldon Brown defending the receiver, Donnie Avery. Incomplete pass. And now they got to punt the ball for that 2nd consecutive time. The 2nd consecutive 3 and out for the Colts.
And we talked about how both offenses had been humming along and chewing up clock in terms of time of possession, and then they ended up going 3 and out on 2 consecutive possessions.
Serves us right, huh? Feeling pretty good about ourselves watching the game with these young players.
Defense has to show up sometime, and I'm not offended by that. You know it.
McAfee. Cribbs. They'll let it go. Oh, and it just almost hit that out of bounds marker, but it goes into the end zone. 57-yard punt to the 20-yard line. The Browns, when we come back, 13-20 in the fourth. 2 3-and-outs by the Indianapolis Colts. 2 consecutive punts for Cleveland here as we're in the second half, and now early in the fourth. After the punt, touchback, first down and 10. Hardesty spinning his way. Connor at the bottom of the pile brings him down, 28-yard line. It's a burst of about 8, and there you see the new owner of the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam, purchased the Browns from Randy Lerner for $1 billion. It was approved this week in Chicago.
Had a chance to meet him personally at a game in Baltimore in a Thursday night game. Interesting and wonderful personality. You can tell he's energized the football team. Even Joe Hayden said he loves the personality and passion of his new owner.
Connor makes a tackle again on Hardesty with a gain of 2. On that second and the long one, he's up to the 31. He gets another first down. Here's a kid who had the knee injury early in his career, had a couple of fumbles in preseason this year, which kind of relegated him to the bench. Then when Richardson was out last week, as he is today, Hardesty comes in and is filling that void.
And I love Hardesty. He's late getting back to the huddle. He was watching the previous play on the big screen, the Jumbotron up top, to see where he missed the hole.
Couple tight ends, first down and 10 for Brendan Wheaton with 2 touchdown passes today. Good time. Winding up, looking for Gordon, and he's jousting there with Zibikowski, and it's incomplete at about the 15-yard line. The two kind of collide. No yellow on the field.
I love Zibikowski. This is just a smart football player going up against Josh Gordon. Zibikowski knows he can run with Josh Gordon. So this is what you do. You get in front of a speedy receiver, force him to run right up your back. He can't run up your back. Look at that. See, that's the cutoff move. As a defensive back, it's a smart move because they cannot flag you for pass interference.
Wheaton is only one of his last 6. Zibikowski digging in, second down and 10. Hardesty hits the hole, finds his way into the grasp of Connor. He's up to the 36-yard line. Little burst right there of 5 by Montario Hardesty out of the University of Tennessee, which, by the way, happens to be of big interest to his new owner, Jimmy Haslam.
Jimmy Haslam is a huge fan of the Tennessee Volunteers. You know, when I met him on the sideline in Baltimore, I just noticed what great shape he was in. He takes really good care
about you, too.
Look at that. I wouldn't want to take him on. If your owner is fit, well, you know, the players have got to be fit.
Really,
right?
I have to buy any more ties. He's got orange down in Tennessee. He's got some orange in Cleveland. The wardrobe is set. Third and a long 4. Good-looking catch by Watson, but not enough. And Zibikowski is there once again. It's a gain of 1. Thought he may wiggle away. Gets up to about the 39. And another punt coming up. So after great offense in the first half, stagnation here in the second.
He's a Golden Glove boxer. Now watch this punch. That's a 1-inch punch. Get him on the ground. Zibikowski making plays with his defense today. Cutting off Gordon on the deep ball and then coming up and making the tackle to get his team off the field.
We've had no turnovers in the game here this afternoon in downtown Indy. As Hodges is set to punt to Hilton. Fair caught, 17-yard line. 43-yard punt Wednesday in prime time. JB, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth showcase America's favorite game with their own unique style. It's Inside the NFL, and it comes your way Wednesdays at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, only on Showtime. So these last 2 drives have not shown much. You look at the first 4, where we had all kinds of fireworks and good drives, good completions, nice first down acquisitions. First down and 10. There's a nice little block by Allen, the tight end, as it goes off to Ballard, who's brought down on the play by Emmanuel Stevens. He had the strip sack last week of Andy Dalton. It's a gain of 6. He's up to the 25.
Now, if you're the Indianapolis Colts, what do you do with 10 minutes to go in the game? You try to bleed clock. How do you do that? You would like to be able to run the football, something the Colts have struggled to do so far this year, averaging only 83 rush yards a game, ranking 27th in rush yards, but they've got to be able to pound it on the ground if they're going to bleed time off the clock.
103 yards rushing today for the Colts. This goes off to Ballard, who was hit by T.J. Ward and upended and finished off by Robertson. That's a nice gain of 8. He's up to the 33, and that is a first down for Indianapolis.
Well, if you're Bruce Arians, you got to love what you saw in this play, running off the right side behind McGlynn and Winston Justice, picking up the first down, running the football. Maybe you don't expect to, but as a play caller, you have to make these kind of calls. You can't allow Andrew Luck to drop back and throw it on every single play, particularly in the fourth quarter when you're playing with a lead.
First down and 10. Ballard first up. Boy, nice job with run defense right there. They get a flag thrown on the play. Hughes and Ward were the two that combined on the stop, and the 1 yard gain is up to about the 34.
Flag came in late.
It did.
As he was going down to the ground.
Got hit in the head, maybe?
After the play was over, unnecessary roughness, number 52 of the defense for contacting a player that was already down with his helmet. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic. First down.
Watch this.
Yep. A little bit late.
Yeah, it was a little late. And Quail Jackson, you know him, I know him, didn't try anything violent there. But it was just that last trigger, last firing of the muscles where he just couldn't hold back.
He had a concussion the other day, a mild concussion, came back and played. Of course, he's had his share of injuries back in 09 and 2010. There's a first and 10 for Luck at the 49. Now on the block, Kitchen with the tackle, trying to lasso Vic Ballard. He sprints his way to the 44. That's a nice gain of 7 on the play. You know what is interesting about this franchise, there was talk last year they may even trade for Kyle Orton, who was then with Denver. Think if had Orton been here and not what they had at quarterback as they jockeyed a little bit back and forth, they might have won a couple games. They might not have had that #1 overall pick. So as things turned out, they stuck with what they had. They draft him, and they begin the process all over.
Who would have thought that losing so many games can kind of get you what you got with Andrew Luck? Tremendously beneficial.
Second down and 3. Bill Polian, of course, was the longtime GM. He is now gone. That was a gain of about 1 on the play. Ryan Grigson, you talked about him, Solomon, early in the game. Both these teams trying to reshuffle the deck in their front office and drafting well.
There's no doubt about it. And going back to had they not end up with Andrew Luck, had they not end up with that first overall pick, you might have very well found Peyton Manning still being your quarterback here in Indianapolis. You go ahead and make that bonus payment back on March 8th as opposed to releasing.
Third down, long 2. Luck being chased. From behind was the ball, jarred free. Brown on a bad wheel came and got him. That is a fumble. It is the game's first turnover. We think it was a sack, and it was the 3rd sack, and it is a Cleveland possession. Sheldon Brown came from one side, Jabal Sheard came from the other. They had the sandwich. What a big hit right there. Was he already down, perhaps?
I don't know how you hold on to the ball in any event if you're Andrew Luck. His presence of mind to even still try to clutch it, I thought was uncanny and phenomenal.
What a hit by Brown. He drills Luck. Ball jarred free. Turnovers are reviewed. 7:25 in the 4th. Brown drilled the unsuspecting Andrew Luck. 3rd fumble lost. He's fumbled 4 times in his young career.
Yeah, and Brown just literally took the ball from Andrew Luck. And I don't know how Andrew Luck could have held on to the ball after such a devastating hit from Sheldon Brown.
Richardson has not played in the second half. Here's a 1st and 10. They go outside to Benjamin. Speedy little wide receiver out of Miami. Hit on the play by Cassius Vaughn. Picks up 9 on the play. Spot him at the 41.
And here's that hit again. The Browns come in with 14 takeaways so far this year. One of the best in the NFL. And then takes this one away from Andrew Luck on the hit by Brown. Look, he tries to elude one defender, and he's just exposed. He never sees Sheldon Brown coming in from the blind side. Strips him of the ball. It was Brown who had an interception return for a touchdown 1 week ago that got the Browns going in that win.
Hardesty's back there. Marisek with the block. 2nd and 1. Going deep for Benjamin. He was in a race that time with Vaughn. Incomplete, missed the last couple games with a hamstring with Benjamin.
This is one Brandon Wheaton would love to have back. What did he tell us? He said when going deep, even to Gordon as well as Benjamin, he wants to keep them in bounds. That one, he clearly threw Benjamin out of bounds.
Brown's going to bring in a couple tight ends. Good numbers on Wheaton today.
Remember, we told you the Browns have lost 10 consecutive road games. Brandon Wheaton has already said, I don't mind playing on the road. Here's his chance to show us.
Hardesty in the backfield, 3rd and 1. Wheaton, no, and he's looking for Gordon. He's got him, and he dropped the ball. But there was good pressure there by Powers. He had just entered the sun from the open roof, which may have played with his vision.
I couldn't have said it better, Kevin. It's exactly what I was thinking. Wheaton told us the coaching staff have really instructed him, you can't overthrow Gordon. Now watch as he entered the sunlight right there. You have to wonder, he's looking back in it. Did he lose the ball in the sunlight? It was just as he entered the sun. What an unfortunate set of circumstance for the Cleveland Browns and a very fortunate one for the Colts.
That'll make you get out of your chair. There's a timeout taken. Pretty important, 4th and 1 coming up. They were lining up to go for it at the Colt 41. Big decision here, 6:38 to play in the 4th. Well, tough one for the rookie from Baylor, Josh Gordon. And the decision has been made by Pat Shurmur to punt. I don't know if his owner agreed. Well, I think that expression says it all.
Well, he wants to win. He knew he had an opportunity to get the go-ahead touchdown on that 3rd down play. Well-thrown ball by Brandon Wheaton.
Here's Reggie Hodges. He's out of Ball State. He's punting for St. Louis, the Jets, Tennessee, Philadelphia. He's going to punt here. And back is Hilton at the 10. Rugby-style kick, kicking it on the end of the ball. And doesn't matter because it just sails way out of bounds. Let's see where they mark the ball, making the trek up the sideline. And it's at the 20. Right at the 20. 21-yard play.
Kevin, look at here. Look, there it is, right in the sun. Just as he entered the sun is when the ball arrived. And Wheaton threw it out in front of him perfectly. And he thought his guy should have had it. And even Haslam, we should have had that one. He is a true football fan. Welcome to the NFL, Mr. Haslam.
I think last night he was sitting with Peyton down in Knoxville at the Tennessee-Alabama game. Now he's sitting here and watching the other team in orange. Here we go, 1st down and 10 from the 20-yard line after the punt. And Carter runs into the grasp there of James Michael Johnson. That is a gain of 3. And coming up next, Mark Sanchez and the Jets will take on Tom Brady and the Patriots. That's an AFC East showdown. All those teams at 3-3. Where the Jaguars will take on the Raiders. Some of you will see that. Check local listings for the game in your area.
There's Josh Gordon, and everyone knows he can catch those. He's proven that. We already showed you the great handball that he had on his 33-yard touchdown.
True.
That one, as he entered the sunlight, I think he just lost the ball in the sun.
2nd down and 7. Wayne drilled by Robertson. There's a nice block there by Carter to give the quarterback some time. That's a pickup of 6 for Reggie Wayne, who today has caught 6 balls for 73 yards.
Yeah, and Luck now, he's dealing 16 of 29 in the game. He had 135 yards midway in the 2nd quarter, and he's still yet to hit 200 yards passing. It goes to show you how this Cleveland Browns defense, they picked up their intensity here in the 2nd half.
Numbers on Wayne. 11-play drive, the Colts' first possession. 14-play drive, the second. 2 Luck touchdown runs. Here's a 3rd and 1. Carter rams his way into Sheard. He was not going to budge. Sheard makes the hit.
Did I just tell you they picked up their intensity here in the 2nd half? Watch this. Oh, they just slammed the door shut on Carter. They don't budge an inch at the line of scrimmage.
Hughes was in there as well. Sheared up high. Hughes down low. They're going to punt.
That was a big play by the Cleveland Browns defense. Get the ball back now. Got to be careful punting this ball to Joshua Cribbs. here's where he'll look to hit a home run.
As we said earlier, the number 2 punt return man in the NFL. McAfee will punt. Good hang time. The Fed's trying to get down there. He was blocked by Bodamas. And the gain to about the 27-yard line. Maybe a yard, and that was about it on a 49-yard punt. So Whedon and the Browns will get it with 2 timeouts remaining and down by 4. And the Home Depot SEC on CBS brings you one of college football's great rivalries. When the unbeaten number 2 ranked Florida Gators tangle with the 11th ranked Georgia Bulldogs in Jacksonville. It all begins with college football today, right here on CBS. There was a penalty, and it was a hold on that play. The flag thrown back at the 25-yard line.
So they'll re-kick it. That gives Joshua Cribbs another shot at that home run. You know he'll swing for the fences if he gets a chance to return this punt.
What an exciting player, 2-time Pro Bowler. By virtue of his special teams play, his return play, and I don't know if they've got any Wildcat plays with this new regime in there, but they certainly did before.
Well, and also keep in mind, Cribbs has had a fumble in 4 consecutive games on a return. Sometimes it's been feast or famine.
Former college quarterback at Kent State, versatile player. Hard to grab, as we know, and we've seen all the returns, punt returns and kickoff returns in his career. Punting again now, Pat McAfee. Lower punt. And here comes Brazil. He gets it. The reserve wide receiver. Nice play. Levon Brazil out of Ohio. Limiting the dangerous Cribbs to a 1-yard return on a 51-yard punt.
Now the Cleveland Browns are 4 points behind. A field goal won't help them. Here's what we saw happen earlier in the game. The missed extra point, the botch on the hole there by Hodges. Not able to hold it. They don't get the extra point. Instead of being down by 3, they find themselves down by 4. So a touchdown is what they need with 4 minutes to go. If you're Brandon Whedon, work the middle of the field, work the sidelines, try to get out of bounds. But right now, you've got to be careful with where you go with the football.
4 in the secondary, 1st down and 10 for Whedon. Hardesty was back there. Cooper, the ever reliable Josh Cooper, at least in the last 2 weeks. He picks up 14 right there and slides his way up to the 45-yard line for a 1st down.
Cooper continues to be the man. That's his 4th catch on the day. Just too shy of the lead in this game by Greg Little. He's continued to be the guy that Whedon trusts when they're in a spot.
Whedon has had a couple touchdown passes today. 1st and 10 from the 45. Cleveland with 2 timeouts. Good block by Schwartz, the right tackle. Benjamin with the catch. That's close to a 1st down. In fact, he got it. Gain of 11. And he's down to about the 43-yard line. Over there, he was hounded by linebacker Freeman and others.
Starts with the protection first. Watch how he can step up in that window right there. Thought Freeney got too far up the field. Allowed the window that time by Whedon to step up to get this ball to Benjamin. And boy, when Whedon cuts it loose, it gets to the receiver in a hurry. The secondary doesn't have much time to react.
Cassius Vaughn was in on the stop. He's one of the 5 defensive backs that Whedon looks at now with a 1st and 10 at the Colt 43. Launching deep and going for Gordon, who's working on. Oh, there's a player out of bounds. The official, you see, threw his hat off.
That's right.
Means it went out of play, and the defense by Vontae Davis on the angular Josh Gordon.
And this is where the lack of experience probably comes back to haunt Josh Gordon and works for Vontae Davis. You step out of bounds. Now you can't make a play on the ball, and you really don't want to drift too close to the out of bounds line if you're going to run this route. So you got to stem it and stay here and don't allow yourself to be widened out of bounds by the veteran cornerback Vontae Davis.
Colts have gone to 6 defensive backs, 2nd down and 10. Hardesty plowing his way down to about the 38, 39-yard line. That's a gain of 4, and the tackle was made by Matthews.
You're sitting at home and you say, why run the draw play? We should be throwing the football. Pat Shurmur, get the ball down the field. And what Pat Shurmur is hoping on 2nd down play like that the defense for the Colts just pin their ears back, come after the quarterback, get far upfield. Maybe you can pop that draw play, but now Whedon has to make a play with his arm, getting the ball down the field. Maybe you go to Cooper, the guy he trusts the most of his wide receivers on third down.
The sixth defensive back was taken out. Anger, the linebacker, put in. 3rd and 6. Obanaya was in the backfield. Looking for Little. Coverage on the play by Powers. 1:57 to play. This will constitute our 2-minute warning. The Browns on the move. They're down by 4 on CBS. Down by 4. 4th and 6. 2-minute warning. 1:57 from the 39 of Indianapolis. They need the 33. Cooper. Incomplete. Great coverage on the play by Powers. Was the ball thrown in back of him just a bit, maybe?
I thought it was. I thought you could maybe lead him a little bit in front, but I thought the ball got on top of Cooper before he could really position himself to make the catch. We thought he'd go to Cooper. He did go to Cooper, and Powers makes the play. Remember we talked about on some of those slant routes trying to maybe go low where the defender can't get it, and I'm sure Whedon is even thinking about his ball placement on that play.
Cleveland does have 2 timeouts remaining. If the defense can stiffen here for the Browns, they may get it back. We'll see here as it's 1st and 10 for Luck. It goes on downs to the Colts from their 39. With a couple of tight ends. Luck and Ballard. Up right there. Good play by Hughes. He was over there. Also the other rookie, Billy Wynn. The 2 rookies on that line. Loss of 3. Back to the 36 and a timeout. Browns just took a timeout. 1 left. 2nd down. 13 for Luck. Ballard. Oh, he slips free. Big missed tackle. Young sends him out of bounds. A romp of 26, and it couldn't have come at a better time, all the way to the Cleveland 38.
Watch it. You're going to see him come up. Sheldon Brown, 24, right there. Got to be able to make that tackle. You miss that one, and boy, even the game slips away, not just the runner.
Well, coming up, time permitting after the game, the NFL Today updated. Presented by Farmers Insurance. Join JB Dan and company and all the latest scores, news, and highlights from today in the NFL from the 38 with a couple tight ends. Luck 1st and 10. And again to the rookie Ballard. Works his way in. Stopped on the play by DeQuell Jackson. That is a gain of 4 to the 35 and a timeout. The final one burned by Shermer and the Cleveland Browns.
Reggie Hodges after the early touchdown in the game. The holder, he can't proc this one up for Phil Dawson. That's 1 point that they could have had in this ball game. And here's 6 more points they let get away. Josh Gordon drops this one, what would have been a sure touchdown as he entered the sunlight, lost the ball in the sun, much to the dismay of their new owner, Mr. Haslam.
Ridley owns 100% of the team. He only has 70% right now. The other 30 still remains with Lerner for about 4 years. Ridley has 100% of the team. He's going to feel that all the time. That's just the way the NFL is. Good team or bad.
Cleveland Browns now facing their 11th consecutive loss on the road. They haven't turned the ball over. Remember, they entered today's game with a turnover in 24 consecutive games. They've played really well on offense. We showed you 2 plays that could essentially cost them the game, Kevin.
2nd down and 6 from the 34. Howard again, hit this time, and a clean tackle made by Brown, a gain of 1. But Cleveland cannot stop the clock. We've had 2 rushing touchdowns by Luck, 2 touchdown passes by Wheat.
Much to the defense of Sheldon Brown. He's a veteran cornerback in the National Football League and one of the best tackling cornerbacks in the National Football League. And they could be off the field, forcing an Indianapolis Colts punt had he made that tackle.
Playing in his 167th consecutive game today, the former 2nd-round pick from Philadelphia.
Good football player in his 11th year from South Carolina. He's going to think about that one on plane ride home. Even though he forced the 1 turnover in this game, that'll be the play he'll remember when he's laying in his bed awake tonight.
You saw the timeout taken there by Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians was the offensive coordinator with Cleveland back in 01 to 03,
yep,
when head coach Chuck Pagano was the defensive back for the Cleveland Browns.
That was when the Cleveland Browns were just young, and a young Tim Couch had been their quarterback. Arians, remember, he brought Kelly Holcomb to Cleveland with him from the Indianapolis Colts. Kelly Holcomb had some huge passing days for the Cleveland Browns in those days when Arians was the offensive coordinator.
Here's Whedon, career in minor league baseball, and gave it another shot in football. Went to Oklahoma State. High pick, and now leading the Cleveland Browns as a 29-year-old rookie. 3rd down and 6. Cleveland is out of timeouts. Nice tackle right there by Jaquay Parker. First time we've called him today, but he comes up with a big one. No gain on the play. 4th and 6. Ball will remain at the 34. You see the play clock. As Sattelli gets up very slowly.
They have no timeouts for the Browns. That's why you run the ball. If you're the Indianapolis Colts, keep running it. They have no timeouts, and they'll just bleed clock.
Down to about 7 seconds. It looks like right now. My math ain't that good, but nor is my English. But I think it's going to be about 7 seconds.
Yeah, that's why you don't throw it there, because an incompletion would have stopped the clock.
Well, the Colts came in 2-3 at the 26-point road loss last week, with a chance under a rookie quarterback to go 3-3 if they go on to win. Now let's see what they decide to do. Will they try for a field goal? I would assume they will punt it.
Yeah. Remember, these two quarterbacks went at it just earlier this year in January in a bowl game. Luck was at Stanford. Whedon was at Oklahoma State. Whedon's team won, and we talked to Luck about it. He said, yeah, he outdid me in that game. Why'd you guys have to bring that game up? It looks like Luck may have the last say after this one today.
Actually, Whedon last year at Oklahoma State not only beat Luck, he beat RG3 at Baylor, and he beat Ryan Tannehill at Texas A&M.
Whedon, we know this now. Whedon can play, and he also knows how to win some ball games.
Well, let's see where McAfee puts this one. With Cribbs back there, and Lanning's in the end zone. So a touchback to the 20-yard line with 1 second remaining in regulation.
Good clock management by the Indianapolis Colts. Bruce Arians making sure only leaving 1 second on the clock against the strong arm of Brandon Wheat.
Well, you know what was big on that drive that really ate up more time for Indianapolis? That 26-yard run by Vic Ballard.
Absolutely.
Huge.
And that's why we chronicled the missed tackle by Sheldon Brown. It was huge. Talked about the runner slipping away, but I believe the game slipped away with it.
7 defensive backs are inside the 40 at the other end of the field. Whedon is loaded up. He's got the arm to get it to the other side, but they're going to go short. It's to Cribbs, who puts it back with the pitch out. It ends up for Little, who throws back to Josh Gordon. It's still alive. Here comes Gordon. He's got a block from Schwartz. He throws back to Whedon, who looks now for his center. He bobbles the ball. It's a loose ball. It is a fumble.
It's a live ball.
It sure is, because it was thrown backwards. Cribbs and the ball go out of bounds, and that will do it. And Cleveland has lost, and the Indianapolis Colts, with the rookie quarterback, have gone to 3-3, and the Browns fall to 1-6. 2 Luck touchdown runs, and the Colts beat the Browns. Solomon Wilcots, Kevin Harlan saying so long from Indianapolis.